Well, I don't know how this is going to turn out, so I'm just going to give it a go. That I decided to do a review on is the Running Back episodes of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta Season 1. Love and Hip Hop is it's moving from VH1 and it's going over to MTV. So I've been entertained by the recent Running Back episodes. So hey, try to test out my reviewing skills by uploading this. So let me get into my notes. I may look at my screen, to make sure I'm getting everything in right, saying everything I need to say. So yeah, recapping this episode, we have cast members Mimi from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. We have Brooke Valentines from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. We have Peter Guns and Richard Dollars from Love and Hip Hop New York. We have Cisco from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood in New York. We have Yandy and Jonathan from Love and Hip Hop New York. And we have Trick Daddy and Chaotic from Love and Hip Hop Miami. I didn't mention, but I should now, that this is the Running Back episode 7, which the cast is recapping episode 7, season 1, Therapy. So the first scene, we have Stevie J coming in to Jocelyn's studio session, which he's kind of pissed off because she did the studio session behind his back. And, Cisco, Rich, and Chaotic commented on how sexual relationships between artists and their managers, they always, industry people with power and influence, they don't know how to separate the business from the personal. And they really on some predator stuff. That's also the reason why we see some very talented artists never be able to reach their full potential and release quality music. Okay, so the main reason why I wanted to review these Running Back series is because of Kirk and Rashida. They were on a previous episode and they trying to gaslight the viewers to believe Kirk was a good manager. And we all know that is not how it was. They can say behind the scenes, but on the screen, we was seeing how, coming up to venues, hardly anybody there. Certain things Rashida wanted to get done weren't getting done to her satisfaction. So it's like, hey, now we're reviewing the season and it's all, he's actually been able, I get into it. Okay, so Rashida has success in her businesses. Yes, I'm happy for her and I'm happy for the family too in general. But what about the music? That's my main thing. I commented on Twitter that Rashida could have been what Megan is to Houston and what Trina is to Miami. Like, that is what this platform specifically could have done for her. But even before then, because the singles that Rashida released, they were really good, in my opinion. Kirk in this episode, he was like pouting, like he was so hurt that Rashida spoke to Miss Deb about managing her. And I was like, they make it like it would have been such a letdown if she wasn't with Diplo. Like, please, like it's just funny because to go back in time, like the portrayal of Kirk and his relationship with Rashida wasn't good. And like, it's kind of confusing because on the previous episode that they were on, like they wasn't really commenting. Like Mimi commented a lot on the past and what happened and how she was feeling about stuff. Erica, but Kirk and Rashida were kind of like, they were mute on a lot of stuff. Like they would laugh and ha 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 and be passive aggressive about stuff, but they never really like said, well, in reality, this was happening. So It's always something to uncover there. Brooke also brought up how in previous episodes, Kirk mentioned wanting to separate business from personal. So I find it funny how he's mad at Rashida, made a personal business decision on her own, and he's questioning her love for him. Like she's doing what you want her to do. Rashida's literally trying to make things work, compromise with this whole situation. The Creep Squad, Rich, Peter, and Cisco. We can add Stevie J to that too, but you know, that's just the main Creep Squad for right now. Okay, they're getting on Benzino because he was getting emotional about his relationship with Cardi, and they act like they all haven't been caught crying over their dysfunctional relationships. Like they've all, like, one season to the next has been crying over somebody and how they were done wrong, and how, you know, they felt bad about getting caught. I found it interesting how invested Benzino was in the relationship with Cardi, and they only knew each other for about 2 days. And when the Creep Squad was like reviewing the scenes, it was giving he gonna cry in the car. Like it was so funny. They was really dragging him. Like they was like, girl, get off the floor. I just say, girl, that's a figure of speech. I'm not gendering anybody. It's just, you know, it's just my expression of like saying, damn. Like it was so strange to me. Like they was really not understanding why he was crying over Cardi, and they was Benzino and Cardi was like a pretty big deal. Like before they just went completely downhill on the show, it was like they was kind of cute together. I'm not gonna lie. Whatever. Okay. Carly was seemingly more invested in her music career, and making sure that Benzino wouldn't be a distraction to her music career. So he was really hurt by that, like by her manager saying that he was good look. That's what happens when you burn bridges. People be holding on, like let it go. Like, okay, she's dating somebody. What that got to do with you? What that has to do with the music that she's trying to make, what she wants to make? Like, manager, relax. Now we're gonna get into Little Scrappy and Shay. Scrappy was trying to convince Shay he's not with Erica anymore, and it was so weird, the whole back and forth he had with Erica and Shay, because in reality, like I think Erica and Shay would like they pretty be good friends. Like they're pretty, I think they experience similar things in life would make them cool with each other if it wasn't for this whole situation, and then other stuff probably too. I don't know. But yeah, I wrote calling Shay his best friend, and now she feels she can comment on things she really shouldn't be talking about, especially the child support situation. Like so scandalous. I feel like Scrappy was wrong trying to make Erica seem like she was playing him. Because in reality, as a parent, trying to co-parent, if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, whether for your child directly or to help the other parent, if you don't do it, you're kind of bogus. And just pay the damn child support. Just pay the child support. But like I said, this is old episodes we recapping, but you know, we still getting our feelings. I still get my feelings. Like it didn't have to be what it was. They really, you know, we're getting Stevie J comes back on the screen with this damn weird song for Mimi, putting lyrics to their relationship spin cycle. Jonathan really disappointed me, lusting over Stevie in these scenes. Jonathan Love, you gotta do better. Like, we all deserve love, but not one wrapped up in narcissism, controlling, and manipulation. Like, it's never that serious. Just saying. Rich was right when he said that Mimi, Stevie, and Jocelyn were the most entertaining couple seen on Love and Hip Hop. Like, they just was just very good TV. It's like, I think it was because of Mimi. If Mimi wasn't who she was and she didn't keep her composure in the way she did, it would have been so different. Because you had Jocelyn always ready to fly off the handles. Then you had Stevie in his own little world. And Mimi was just like, I wonder what's going to happen next. Because this ish is some foolery. So it was very entertaining. Chaotic said a polyester suit in a polyester relationship. He meant to say polyamorous in describing Stevie, Jocelyn, and Mimi. Since hosting Cheaters, Peter Gunn has become more honest in how he looks at relationships. Watching the therapy session, he acknowledges how Stevie has to be honest in admitting that he's a liar and where his flaws are. So good for Peter. Good for him being able to pinpoint the problematic behavior. Before Jocelyn joined the therapy session, I did appreciate Dr. Jeff asking the question regarding the relationship between Stevie and Mimi and their mothers, and how our parents can affect how our romantic relationships unfold. I think, him hitting a little bit on that and them discussing their relationships with their parents, is something that we all need to do, because they really do influence every aspect of our life. They're our first relationships. They're our first everything. So we really get to learn how to interact with others, how we speak to others, how people speak to us through our parents. So it's something to be tuned into. Jonathan also mentioned that Mimi was the first Black person on TV to talk about Scientology and how it affected her life. I just imagine being so young and your parents choosing religion over you. That's very horrible. And I can see how that has a lot to do with how Mimi engaged with Stevie in some of her other relationships. And staying in cycles where it's we going back and forth, you not wanting to leave, that could be an abandonment thing, but also not being able to fully invest in a way that your partner may want you to, because it's people are unpredictable. And to give that 50-50, that's nice, that's cute, but sometimes we just want people to show us that they are solid. And it seems like when you're not good with someone, they take the opportunity to show their ass. You see, if you would have just relaxed, you would have got what you wanted, but you wanted to show your ass at the second we wasn't on good terms. And that's why I'm out. Brooke commented on something I've been thinking since the beginning of this Running Back series, and that is, I would love to have had Jocelyn, Stevie on a few of these episodes, reviewing the scenes. Also K. Michelle, who people cannot stop talking about. To see the reactions of some of the major players in the franchise or in the beginning of this franchise would have been so great. I say, cut the check. Hey, so I'm back. If you notice a lighting change, it's because it's now daytime. Put on the same shirt, got my notes back in front of me, and I'm ready to go. So I decided to combine episode 7 with episode 8, so I don't have to do all that run around. So here this is right now. And also, because I'm filming this in the daytime and not at night, you're gonna hear more noise. So yes. Okay, so moving along to episode 8, Run It Back, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, season 1, episode 8, called Three's Company. Okay, recapping this episode, we have cast members Mimi, Erica Dixon, and Shakana from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Again, we have Peter Guns and Rich Dollars from Love and Hip Hop New York, as well as Cisco from both Love and Hip Hop Hollywood in New York. We have Shay Johnson and Bobby Light from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and we have Young Jock, Kirk and Kirk from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and we have Rockstar joining them from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Rockstar from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, he's such a character. I know that he produced for some very prominent artists in the music industry, but you know, his attitude is really ill, and I don't appreciate him coming at Carly the way that he is. Now, Carly Red is not my favorite person, but she's a good time, so he needs to relax about, oh, she makes horrible music. She has a hit now with Spice called Work, so take that, Mr. Rude. Watching them recap, I really wish that Young Jock would stop speaking on Carly Red, because every time she comes on screen, Young Jock looks like he wants to devour her, just like when they're in person. He can't resist her. It's like all the shade for me. Like, he just him and Rockstar, they're really going at it. They're trying to see who can be the shadiest. We see Little Scrappy enter the club with Shay Johnson, and he immediately abandons her as soon as they walk in the club and see the group of ladies, Mimi, Rashida, Arian, and K. Michelle. He was so shook, zooming like, gotta go, I don't know that woman, that woman's a stranger to me. It was ridiculous. And they're supposed to be best friends. Okay, and he just left her, just abandoned her. This was like a fly, he was here and he was someplace else. This is the second time that Rashida is seeing Scrap and Shay together. First she saw them in the studio, and now she's seeing them in this club, so it's giving very scandalous. And here we have Young Jock saying some ignorant foolishness, talking about the women who don't have men are always trying to tell. Like, no, I'm sorry, but it's called not being a deceitful person, letting somebody know when someone's being deceitful to them and they're two-timing them. So it's called decency. That's the word that he was probably trying to say. Or what he was trying to say is called decency. Not being bitter, but decency. And that's exactly what K. Michelle did. Stay tuned for that. They really love going in on Benzino, especially with him trying to shower Carly with gifts. The creep squad sound like a bunch of haters, in my opinion. I'm surprised that Shakana said that she likes Kirk and Rashida. I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, well, because you know Shakana always got it in for someone that's a cheater. So I'm like, but you like Kirk and Rashida? Okay, I'm gonna be quiet on that one. I'm just gonna let that go. I'm gonna let that go. And as I said, and many could agree, Miss Deb was right. Kirk did not do enough for Rashida to be a household name musically. Once again, Kirk is kind of mute on the subject when it comes to Rashida's career, but he did admit that Deb could have been a benefit to Rashida's career since she worked with artists like Nicki Minaj. So he knew that he couldn't do for her what someone else could do. So this is the episode where Jocelyn joined Mimi and Stevie at the couples kick therapy. Now this therapy session was one for the books. infamous. Mimi and Stevie seem to be making some leeway about his compulsive lying when Jocelyn comes in on the therapy session, unbeknownst to Mimi. Stevie's always popping Jocelyn on Mimi like some nightmare surprise, but he's always the one getting wailed on. Shaking my head. That was so disrespectful on Stevie's part. Dr. Jeff said Stevie is really passive aggressive when it comes to Jocelyn, especially with him doing little things like wiping the sweat from her nose. Like, what's going on, sir? What's wrong with you? It's weird. Well, that's the end of this combo episode review. Run It Back, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Season 1, Episode 7 and 8.